Radio Free Pro Wrestling proudly presents Center Stage. Help David and Shawn welcome this week's guest to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me extreme pleasure and honor to introduce this week's guest to the center stage here on Radio Free Professional Wrestling. She has blazed her own path through the world of professional wrestling, coming from a family of freestyle wrestlers. She has been the first ever TPG titles champion, the first Square Gold champion, and she just recently lost her German Wrestling Federation women's title and a first ever battle royal. I give it to you guys, Mia Smidt. Mia, how are you doing?
Hi guys, hi. Thank you so much for having me first. I'm doing great, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing well. We were talking before we were recording that I had a chance to see you wrestle, because I kind of forgot you wrestled Eva Valkyrie back in NXT UK. And I remember seeing that match and going like, you were somebody who stood out to me. I'm going like, why did they keep you around for a bit? Because you were freaking good.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome. I hope you enjoyed the matches that you saw and had fun. Yeah, it was something. Like it was NXT UK was incredible. Now let's see for NXT Europe and what's next.
So I remember you tweeted out after you won the Tigers Championship that it was historic. I know that was the first all-women's show with the all-women's main event. How did that make you feel? How do you think your nine-year-old self would have thought about that?
Honestly, there's always something special when you really think about it. That's just like making a history. And like, for me, it's making a history is not just a personal satisfaction. Of course, it is on one point, but it's more important than that. For me, it's more like opening doors and, when I think back in the days when there were women like the Divas era and everything, like to just open doors for us right now to do what we do and perform at the level we do. And so for me, it's just like giving something back to wrestling and opening more doors for the next generations. And so, yeah, I'm really proud about what we all have done, because there was a first all-female show for this promotion and female main event where I defended my title against Mila. It was epic match. It was really, really nice. It makes me really proud about the women right now, what we do, and just that we're just kicking more doors,
Exactly. I feel like we're going through a new golden era of women's wrestling, because we had that era around 2010 when you saw Victoria for the first time, and she was in Impact Wrestling or TNA. And to me, they were the foundation of this new generation of professional wrestlers that's coming up now that we get to enjoy wrestling like you.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it started with like TV companies like WWE, TNA and stuff, and like, it's just slowly but surely spread out to the independent scene where we all like on the same page doing more and pushing ourselves and kicking doors and just, showing more that and just pretty faces, and also like showing that we work hard and that we can do as good as the men and we can compete with them and we can do a lot of stuff and cool stuff. So it's just evolving in a good way, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and especially in France, because French culture is a little bit different when it comes to sports, and especially with professional wrestling. It seems to, you would think like, oh, hey, Paris, one of the largest cities in Europe. It should be a hotbed for professional wrestling, but it's just the difference in cultures.
Yeah, for other countries I've been working in, I think for sure France needs to still evolve in mentalities, like educate people about wrestling and about wrestling entertainment. And because they really like wrestling. Like we have a lot of good crowds and, people were involved and like great reactions and stuff. It's just maybe like to spread it more, educate more people, like do maybe go on tour in more cities and, make it just people know more about wrestling, I guess. Because if you compare like with Germany or the UK and stuff, like I feel like it's a way more famous and people are like just so well educated about wrestling. They know what's going on and they know how they need to react and what, like, they just enjoy it,
Yeah, I really feel with like England and Germany, it has a little bit to do with the fact that there has been an American presence there with like military bases and stuff. So they kind of have the influence of the American like entertainment and sports. And we just saw one of the biggest football games in Germany be like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing another team, and that crowd just ate up American football. And it's kind of the same way with wrestling.
I agree on one point, but I have to disagree as well. I think it's you can be part of this with the American influence, but I also heavily think that the culture that we have in wrestling, that the history we have, if you look at it, like back in the days, there were like golden eras, like they were literally legends and great time for wrestling in history. We have a big history in Europe about professional wrestling, especially in the UK or Germany or Australia. If you look at back in the days, they had like big tournaments, they were all on tour. If you look at Marty Jones, Robert Brookside, like all the guys like this, back in the days, on the independent scene and in the UK, or if you look, even in France, they had like, Guy Mercier, they had a lot of people, Axel Dieter in Germany. Those guys were legends. And during those times, wrestling was really, really famous. And there were like tournaments where they were wrestling every day. And yeah, I think it's one part of the American influence nowadays with the TV companies that we all know, but also a big history part that we have in Europe, especially in those countries.
You come from an Olympic wrestling background. How did your family take to you wanting to blaze your own path and go into professional wrestling?
That's interesting. So yeah, I come from Olympic wrestling. I've been there for like 12 years, been winning titles and stuff. I did high level. So my whole like family, guys in my family are in Olympic wrestling. And as I was good and I was making my way there, when I turned into, okay, I want to be a professional wrestler. This is something I always had in my mind, but I just didn't speak it too loud because I knew they wouldn't really get it especially when I was a kid, It will be like those kind of things. Oh yeah, but you just a kid. Like maybe you will change your mind. It's not for sure and stuff like that. Because when you try, you change your mind pretty often. So I was afraid not to be taken seriously at first. I didn't speak it out too much. But then when I made my turn into pro wrestling, they were kind of like in shock at first, and then they were like, "But this is not wrestling." And what are you doing there? This is not a job and stuff. And then they had a hard time to understand. But by me going all over the world and working every week and wrestling all the time and stuff, now they understand more. And after seeing my match and stuff and me explaining them what it was about, like they just got to understand, and now they just support me, and that's really cool. It's really nice for me now to see that Olympic wrestling and pro wrestling are kind of like working together at some point, because there were some shows in France where, for example, there was La Nuit du Catch organized by Tom Lerfa, my mentor, and so I've been on this show. And for example, we both trained there in Nice at the Olympic Training Club. We both know like the trainers and stuff like that. And for this show, it was in Nice, and we had like the Olympic wrestlers were just coming into the venue and help us, building up the ring and putting the mats all like around and stuff and setting up the place. So that was really nice to see both working together.
That's cool. Having a Olympic background in wrestling, to me, it makes sense to have that background because it makes all the moves and stuff in professional wrestling seem just a little bit more snug, and it gives a different feel to the wrestling. It makes it more real, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I truly feel like Olympic wrestling is kind of the base for pro wrestling. Because if you look at it, if you talk about American influence and TV companies back in the days, especially, if you look at a lot of wrestlers, they come from Olympic wrestling. If you look at Brock Lesnar, if you look at Shelton Benjamin and like Jake Gables, Kurt Angle and stuff, like there's a lot of guys who come from Olympic wrestling or has a background in martial arts, and it makes things look real, like look more credible and realistic because it is real, and that's what they do real. And then for me, when I learned pro wrestling, I felt like it was easier for me to learn the moves and to learn the positioning and to keep, everything in mind because of my training in Olympic wrestling. It just came to my head and stayed there, and it was just like, easier to learn everything and to remember everything. And so, yeah, I think like even about mobility, coordination, like body movement, stuff like balance and everything, I feel like having a background is really, really important when you first you want to be a professional wrestler. I think it's you gain so much time by learning a sport like Olympic wrestling or judo, stuff like that before because a lot of people start just with pro wrestling and then they see themselves like taking ages before being able to do their debut in the ring and stuff like that, because they don't have that background before, and so they have to learn all from the beginning. Whereas when you have a background, you have already some things that your body knows already. You don't need to change some stuff like the rolls and everything. It's already done. You can move forward and actually learn pro wrestling.
Exactly. Now, I know that your ring name, Mia Smith, holds a very special meaning to you. Can you explain it to us?
Yeah, it is pretty special. So at first I was looking for stuff and I couldn't find any idea and anything. And at the end of the day, I just came up with something that will pay tribute to the women in my family throughout the generations. And so Mila was the last newborn in my family at this moment, and Smidt is the family name of my mother. So Mila Smidt was like a name, like several names for my family members.
See, I thought it was so cool that you took two family members' names and put it into your ring name, and that's you. That's your banner as you're going out here into the world. That was so freaking awesome.
Thank you.
You grew up in the eastern part of France, so when you were starting any of your Olympic wrestling training, you had to travel around France just to be able to train.
Yeah, because as I said, I come from the east part of France, northeast part, and there was like nothing, like no pro wrestling school or real pro wrestling school with real trainers and good trainers and stuff that could make me really improve and everything. So I had to travel a lot to learn pro wrestling and also to find myself, find my style, find who I am in the ring. So a lot of help I had from Tom Larufa, who I said like he's my mentor, but he lives in the south of France in Nice, so we couldn't have the opportunity to train together really often. So I usually had to drive for hours, like to go to Paris to a school there named ABC, where I could train sometimes and sleep at my best friend's place, Anastasia Bardo, who was my tag team partner at some point as well. So I could manage to have at least one or two trainings and then go back to France. So it was really expensive and it was really long. So it was 8 hours back and forth, just for like one or two trainings. And then when I started having more bookings and wrestling all over Europe and stuff and all over the world, so I took just every opportunity on my travels, like to just go and train wherever I was. So I trained a lot in the UK. I've been to Knucklex Gym in London. I've been to Dragon Pro. I think it's a new name now, but it was in Wales. I've been to Manchester with Marty Jones at the Square Circle Academy training. I've been training in Pure G with Mr. Tiger Taguchi-san, a former WCW superstar in Japan. And I've been training in the US when I was on tour. I've been training in MCW. I just try like to make the most of it. Every time I travel somewhere and I have time, I try to just step in the ring and keep on learning and keep on working on myself. Now I live in Germany and I train at Nordisch Fighting Club with Carsten Kretschmer, who's a veteran in the German scene. So I train there at the moment. So yeah, it's the first time really since I'm in Germany where I have a school nearby my house where I can just like drive a little bit and can train on a regular basis. Before that, it was really chaotic. So yeah, but it's interesting because it just forced me to push myself and just do more.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of giving you, the world has been really your school, and you've been able to just pick and choose pieces and meld it together into your style.
Absolutely.
And it shows when you enter the ring.
Thank you. I hope it does. Yeah, I mean, I really found myself a lot in Japan with the style because it was really based on fighting sports. And when I was training there, I just felt like I was training in Olympic wrestling again. It was really nice. I found myself a lot in the UK as well. I love the British strong style. I love the technical stuff because I come from Olympic wrestling, as you know, and for me, it's I see beauty in techniques, and I love that. This is really more my style. And so yeah, every time, I try to pick up some stuff and see what works for me and let on the side what doesn't, but try to work on everything so I'm able to do a bit of everything. and keep pushing on my side.
One thing I found really interesting, you were talking about your first ever TV taping, and your first ever TV taping was actually in Pakistan.
Yes.
And I haven't seen the match. I have seen the layout for this TV taping. You were walking down the ring, and it's like a semicircle, and all I see is like all these Pakistani flags and these lasers and stuff. They went all out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, like, if it was me, I was looking at it, I'd be like in awe. Then I'd be like, okay, we're here now. Let's go.
Yeah, that was awesome. Like really, when I think about it back then, it was awesome. But it was really scary for me because it was my first TV taping, and I saw myself having that first TV taping in front of like maybe like 5,000 people, and like maybe there was like something like 20 cameras around, whether if it was for the taping or media stuff around, media TV or anything. So it was really scary, but at the same time it was so cool. I was like, yeah, I'm getting there. How cool is it, to tell yourself that first TV taping you have is on the opposite side of the world, and that was cool. That was really cool. By the way, I'm coming back to Pakistan this year, so I'm really excited about it.
That's cool. So I know you've been to like 16 countries. You wrestled in 16 countries. You just came to the United States back this spring. So I'm looking forward to see you come back here. Where's one place that you haven't been yet that you want to just cross off your list of traveling?
Oh, wow. Yeah, so first, like with the United States, it was amazing, and I really hope I can come back soon. I'm gonna work on that for next year, for sure. Now there was like Japan was amazing, but I don't know. I never been to Australia. Now, I think I would like to go there as well and have that experience about Mexico as well, where I haven't been. I've been working with Mexican wrestlers from CMLL and stuff in Spain, but I haven't been to Mexico. So I think there will be like some places, the next places I would like to discover would be Australia, Mexico, and then wherever life like takes me, honestly, like I just want to discover the world and, just wrestle everywhere and meet people and just enjoy my time. Like honestly, it is always something really interesting when you go in a new country, meeting new people, like learning about a new culture as well. It's always really, really interesting to me. So I don't know, I go with the flow.
Doing this, like looking through your background and stuff as I was getting ready for this interview, that seems to be the thing with your life. Is like you're able to take the punches and just roll with it. Because I know you had a serious ACL injury back in 2018 as you were actually doing professional wrestling and freestyle wrestling at the same time.
Yeah.
And you got injured in freestyle wrestling. How hard was that year away from all kind of wrestling?
That was really hard. That was, I think, like the hardest year that I had so far with COVID year, but it was different. I mean, physically, because like, during that year before getting injured, I was still studying in sports university. I was doing still Olympic wrestling. I was starting in pro wrestling, and I was preparing a bikini contest and bodybuilding. So it was a way too much for my body. Now lesson learned. And so my body just broke down, and I broke my leg. So I broke my knee on the mat, and I had my surgery, and I was out for a year. And I think it's not really like, because physically pain is not really scaring me. Like I can handle it, like, and it's medicines nowadays you can take like some painkillers, stuff like that, and it can release the pain and everything, and it goes away. Like, that pain goes away at some point. Like mentally you can tell yourself, I'm in pain today, but like in next week I will be less in pain, and then less and less. And like the pain that you have post surgery, it's a good pain. It's the pain that comes before you heal. It's the pain you need to be able to heal, so you can find reasons and stuff and get out of it. But what was really hard for me was mentally about pro wrestling, to tell myself that I would be out for a year and not being able to compete in Olympic, not being able to be in the ring in pro. And I had that fear, really like deep fear, to waste time on my career, and to have like that time out would be like something that would close doors for me in the future, or if I wouldn't be able to come back 100% or something like that. But I truly believe that pro wrestling, that's for sure, pro wrestling was the thing that kept me going, and that was stuck in my head. And I was like, I need to when I start, like, for example, been to the physical therapist, and I start, like, I had to learn how to walk again. If I don't know if people like realize that, but it's like something that you do every day, and it's just normal. But then you break your knee, and you like have to learn it again, and that's terrible. Like mentally, that was terrible. But every time I had a struggle and stuff, I just thought about the ring. I just thought about first thing. I say, if I want to go back in there, I need to get through this. I got this. I got this. And then like it just kept me on going. And yeah, it was a really tough time, but we managed. I'm here and I don't feel anything anymore. Like my knee is great. So it just, hard time passed. We just need to keep on going.
Mia, we were just talking about you overcoming your ACL injury back in 2018. Once you were cleared, by 2 months later, you had one of the biggest opportunities you had in a while, a WWE tryout. So how did that come about?
Wow. So yeah, that was really amazing and scary at the same time again, because you never really prepared for that, right? Especially after 1 month of 1 year out, full of recovery process and stuff. So I had to, a friend of mine who was a ring announcer and also like presenting sports like UFC and everything on TV. And TNA on TV in France. Célian Varini, he sent me a link of the, tryout where I had to fill in files and stuff. And I was like a bit confused. I didn't know if I had to do it or not. And I asked him and I asked my mentor, Tom, about it. And, they both said, yeah, you have nothing to lose by trying, like, of course you're not 100% yet, but you have 2 months to prepare and you just go there and give your best, and it's always be like a learning opportunity and good stuff for your career and good learning things. Like you will learn a lot of things and stuff, so you have nothing to lose. And so I fill in the papers, I send them back the files and stuff, and in my head I was like, I didn't think they would take me on the trial because of my injury that just happened, and I was like, there's no way they're going to take me. But as they said, I have nothing to lose. So by trying, so let's go. And then it was 1 month was gone. And then 1 month before the tryout, I had an answer. I just received an email from WWE telling me that I was part of it. Like they were inviting me for the tryout, and I couldn't believe. I was like, oh my God, that is crazy and stuff. So I really tried to prepare myself as the best way I could. I try like to train and really good to watch my diet and stuff, and just like getting ready, getting my physical condition ready and stuff. But I knew I wasn't 100% yet. It takes a while to get back like really at the shape and physical condition as you were before after that kind of injury. I was just in a mindset like, okay, I'm gonna give my best and see what happens. Knowing the fact that also I only had like maybe 10 matches in pro wrestling. So I was a rookie. I was really green. And so I believe they were more interested about my background back then than my pro wrestling skills because I was really, really new. So I went there and it was 3 days tryout in Germany, in Cologne. And it was so impressive at first, I was like, wow, this is crazy. There were like big WWE coaches like Matt Bloom, there were Robbie Brookside, there was Sarah Stock at the moment, and there was like the guys from Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser now and Giovanni Vinci, and they were there, and there were like a lot of, and then the last day there were some WWE superstars coming to say hi and stuff. So, but the whole process, it was 2 trainings per day. So we were training in the morning, we had a break to eat, and training in the afternoon again. And I think like I just gave my best, and I know I did good. Like I had really, really good feedbacks and stuff because they were informed about my former injury. And they were like, I had good feedbacks from them. They were happy about what I was doing. But I knew like it was frustrating for me because I knew I could give so much more, but that injury was, kind of putting me down at some point. And then the last day I should have had a match, but my leg was so sore because I was used to train once per day again, where my knee was okay for 1 training per day again. But maybe like the 2 trainings, like intensive trainings, the whole day and stuff, that it was not ready yet for it. So the last day was really, really sore. And the doctor of the medical team just told me that I shouldn't do my match. So I couldn't do my match the last day. I was really frustrated about it. I was like, wow, it's done. It's over. So when I went home, of course I wasn't signed there. I went home and I was a bit frustrated about it. But now, when I have a step back and look on it, I'm glad I had a no there. And it was really a no. It was a yes, but it was like, you need to work on this, you need to work on that, you need to hear you 100%. They were really, really caring. I know, like they took really good care of us. I always had really, really good experience with WWE. Really great team. And I was like, nowadays I'm glad that at this moment I had to know, because it just like allowed me to come back and just like heal my knee first 100% and come back in the independent scene and just like travel the world and do what I was doing. And also, I had to struggle, like as we talk about, to train, to travel to places to make a name for myself. And I'm glad I struggled to do that. I'm glad I was in that position, because I had to push myself really and to really work hard. And I truly believe that pain teaches a lot. And yeah, I'm glad, because I was too new anyways to get signed for them to do something with me at this point. And I'm glad I could make my own experience by myself, by struggling, by failing at some point, and by doing mistakes and stuff. And, I'm glad I could do my own way, like in the indie, to prepare myself and find myself by myself with my work and stuff. So now I know I'm ready to take my work to the next level, and I'm ready for it. But back then, I just took the positive things, and I know it was like such a great experience. And I took every advice that they gave me and to put it to work. And yeah, that's all positive stuff.
Exactly. I mean, the door opened. You just had to take the chance at it, because you didn't want to be that person go like 10, 15 years down the road. Like, what happened if I actually went there and try it, even though maybe I'm not at my best?
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%. You're 100% right. Like, it was the same with NXT UK at the end of the day, because I wasn't injured or anything, but I didn't wrestle for like a year, like 18 months or something, because of COVID. And my first match back in the business, was with NXT UK on an empty studio for the TV tapings. And I was like, wow, okay, that's it. It was my welcome back to the business, kid. And it's always like really stressful, but it's always good learning experience, because you need to, in this business, you need to be able to work under pressure, and you need to be able to, no matter the circumstances, like if you got injured before, if you didn't wrestle so much, if you got sick or whatever, like flu or something, you need to, when you come back, you need to make the most of it on every show, on every time, and just give your best. And everything is a learning experience. Every mistake you make is a good thing. Embrace everything. And so yeah, I always take it as a challenge, like now when I know I wasn't really same NXT UK. I knew I didn't wrestle for a while and stuff, and I was stressed out about it. But then, you just have to take a step back and see, like, okay, that's a test, that's a challenge, that's a learning experience and stuff. Just take it, give everything, and see what happens.
So how crazy was it to be in that pandemic era of NXT UK, where it was literally just you, Eva Valkyrie, the referee, and maybe 2 camera people, and that's all you had?
That's all we had, and that's all like we had to work with. And it was disturbing at first. Like, of course you can't show it, and you don't, we just keep on wrestling the way we wrestle, even with the full crowd and stuff. And the work is the same, whether you have thousands of people or 20 people or nobody, just cameras, you have to be able to do the same work. And it's also a good experience. Like, as I said, everything is good, and it's a learning process. But it was, going back there after no wrestling for a while, it was scary. And it was like, wow, like I can't work the crowd because there's no crowd. I can't, have the feeling of people, the noise that people make and stuff, like their reaction and stuff, and reply to this. I can't have that exchange with people, and we can't share that moment right now because there's nobody in the room. I still need to be able to deliver a real good match and make people have emotions and reactions behind their screens, and that was kind of a challenge as well. And yeah, it was a great experience. I've learned a lot throughout that.
Okay, so in that 18-month period before you had that match against the UK, how hard was the French lockdown? Because I know it was kind of like the same as England, where it was really a hard lockdown.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. We had 3 lockdowns, if I remember well, and I guess like for a few of them, I think the first two we had, so we were not allowed to go out. There was like kilometers limitation, so it was like 1 kilometer for the first one. It was like 1 kilometer around, so we could go out once a day just to have a walk and stuff, but not just for 1 kilometer around the house. And if you would go to work, if you would go to the doctor, if you would go to, I don't know, see relatives of yours. For example, I was taking care of my grandma who's old and stuff, so I had to drive to see her and check on her and to shop her food and stuff like that. And I know for every time I was going out, like more than 1 kilometer, or even during that area, we needed to have like a paper signed with the date and the time you were going out, and you had to cross the case, like if you were going out for work, if you were going out for to see somebody or whatever, and you need to have justifications for everything. And that was really hard because it was like I can't do whatever I want wherever I want, and yeah, so we were like just stuck in the house and having to justify every time we were going out.
Yeah, that was a crazy era because I work in retail, and I remember like that first weekend after they finally had the virus here in the States, and everybody was at the grocery store going like, let me go ahead and buy everything that I could possibly think I need for the next 2 months. And it was like nonstop busy. And it was just things you think people would never take for granted. And you just go like, now we're looking back at it and going like, we made it through and we're hopefully better for it. I think we're better for it.
Yeah. I think like it was a hard time, but as every hard time, like a pain or anything, it never lasts, You just need to go through it and make the most of it, see the positive things. I couldn't wrestle for a year and a half, but then I just had to step back and I just had to think about how could I be possibly productive about my career, about myself, and I just allow myself to be creative and work on other aspects of the business, and how could I improve for my comeback and stuff, and have ideas and everything. And also it was a time, for me to be more with my family and with my relatives and stuff that I don't get the chance to see that much when I'm on the road and everything. So it was a bad thing for a good thing at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. Let's talk about some more good things because you just made your debut in the German Wrestling Federation about 9 months ago, and your very first match was for their women's world title. It was against Jessie J, and you came up a little bit short, but it starts this trilogy of matches you had for this title, and you won it back in June in a 3-way.
Exactly.
How has your time in that federation been?
Working for GWF is a blast. I love working for this company. They're like, everything is so professional and quite great atmosphere. We all like work with each other, like to push the company forward, and we're all on the same page, and it's really, really good. They really like give me a platform to express myself and to improve and really evolve. Like I have evolved a lot working with them. So I'm really grateful for my time here so far. It's been really crazy because, yeah, as you said, like as you mentioned, the first match I had there was for the women's title against Jessie J. We had such a battle like for a few months until I had this title opportunity in a three-way where I won the title, and I wanted to make my run as best as I could, like to really lift everyone and to lift like the women's roster really high, like just to improve everything and to push each other, to just to push everyone to to be the best version of themselves and do the best matches possible and best stories and everything for the fans and stuff. And I think we really did it. So like everything was really crazy around there. They're really working really hard to make everybody shine and everybody has a spot and everybody gets what he deserves, and hard work pays off. Everybody who's been working really hard, and look what happened. We had like the first women battle royal in history, and honestly, yeah, I lose my title there. I've been eliminated by the last three women standing. I went out pretty strong. They took three of them to eliminate me. One wasn't enough, so there has to be three. But I'm I don't have any hard feeling right now because I lose my title making history. So, and there's nothing stronger than that. So now I'm just, see for the next year what happens. And I know that big things are coming up. So I'm really excited about it.
That's cool. And oh, by the way, you were never pinned for that title, so you still got a chance to get that rematch.
Oh, that's it. I've never been pinned. So here I am. I'm still standing.
Yeah, and like you said, it took three people to eliminate the champion. They saw you as the biggest threat at the end. You get down to the final four, and they're like, let's eliminate Mia. We'll probably have a better chance if she's not in here because she's going to win it. So they just heave-ho you.
That's it. They knew it. They knew it. So they've just been strategic on it.
Okay, Mia. And how do you feel when NXT UK was shuttered down? And I know they're talking about bringing NXT Europe sometime in 2023, and we just don't know what it's going to be yet. How are your feelings about those?
So I was really sad to see, like NXT UK shutting down because it meant quite a lot for me. It was as I said, it was my comeback after a dark period of time. And as I said, WWE really gave me a lot and was really important. They've always been really, really caring and everything. So and NXT UK was full of great people as well. So I was really sad to hear that, a lot of them lost their job. And so I hope for the best for NXT Europe. I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows like where it will be, when it will be. It's WWE. They will just announce it at the last minute and make calls and stuff. And we all will have the good surprise of it about it. So for now, I don't know, and I just hope for the best. I just keep working on myself and what I can control, and I'm excited to see. Actually, I'm really excited to see.
Me too. I'm just hoping they base it in Europe because I feel like if they try to do it here in the States, yes, you can bring in the best professional wrestlers from Europe here to the States, and it would be good. It's just something about the European crowd. I feel that's what I enjoyed the most about NXT UK was the UK crowd because they took it to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think like the crowd in the UK was really amazing. And as I said, it just joins the idea that I had earlier about the history of pro wrestling in our countries and in Europe. So yeah, I hope it will be in Europe as well, like in those countries, because I mean it would makes the more sense to me. If you want to do NXT Europe, that it will be in Europe. And also we have so much great talents in Europe that didn't have the opportunity yet to express themselves. And we have so much good talents, whether if it's for the men's or the women, like we really, really deserve to have like that chance to have a platform to really express ourselves and show the world that what we're capable of and show the world about our history that we're carrying, and the crowd, I'm sure, will be. I think the crowd is really excited. Like the fans are really excited about NXT Europe as well, because it will be like opportunities for them as well to go on WWE shows without having to travel so far or waiting for their annual tour and stuff. It will be like more opportunities for them to see wrestling and to cheer for their best, their favorite wrestlers and stuff like that. and I'm sure it will be insane. It will be so cool. I can't wait to see it.
Me too. I can't wait to see that vision come to life. Now, if I gave you the power to do, Mia, if I gave you the power to do anything in 2023, what would you do?
The power to do anything in 2023. Wow. That would be to give everybody the opportunity to leave happy and to have everything they need, and to, like, just protect everyone and make everyone not having anything, not being in the streets, not struggling with money, food, or whatever. Just give everybody what they need to live a peaceful and good life.
That's cool. Before we wrap up here, I do want to get to know you just a little bit better. So, I'm not a wine drinker. So, for a non-wine drinker, where would you suggest I would start with a wine?
I'm a wine drinker, as you can imagine. So French cliche, I know. So what I would my go-to thing when I don't know what to pick in the supermarket or at the store, it will be a red wine Côte du Rhône. It's always my go-to thing. You can't be disappointed with that. And I also like Prosecco sometimes. So yeah, that would be my two go-to
That's
things.
cool. So, we're recording like 2 days after France had their second victory in the World Cup. They were the first team to advance to the knockout stage. How are you feeling about your home country bringing the cup back again and being the first team to do a repeat since Brazil?
That is just so awesome. That makes me really proud. And, whether if it's about football, any sports, like, we are really, really good, and we're just killing it, and every time my country is victorious in something, I'm really proud of it. It's always a big thing. I remember, like, for the World Cup, like, we all were in the streets celebrating, and celebrating together with even people you don't know and stuff. Like, we are just in the streets having a drink with each other, and dancing with each other and stuff. And that was a great memory.
That's so cool. So, Paris is going to host the Olympics in 2024. Are you excited for the Olympics coming to your country? Because I think that would be a cool experience just to go and be able to see the Olympics.
Oh yeah, I'm really really excited for it, because, like, during my time in Olympic wrestling, I knew a lot of people. We trained together and stuff, and I know, like, there's some people who keep evolving and keep training. Like, they did great things, and I have, like, a couple of friends who will probably, some of them are already qualified, I guess, because they start qualifications already, and some others are just, like, training for it. And I know, like, I really hope, like, they will make it, and, like, just to go there and see my friends perform, and like fight for Olympic Games and stuff, and see the whole show and see everything live in my country. That will be, like, just incredible feeling, and it will be magical, I know. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I got a feeling the French are going to do the Olympics well. If I could win the lottery, that would be the place I would be in 2024, is Paris for the Olympics, because I think it'd be one heck of a party.
Oh yeah, that will be insane, I'm sure.
Okay, Mia, last question for you. What is your favorite Christmas memory? Since we're almost here at Christmas, which is kind of crazy to think about, but we are.
Yeah, time flies, isn't it? I still see myself on summer, like, working on my tan and stuff at the swimming pool at the lake, but no, we're already in Christmas time almost. I think my favorite, I would say my favorite, the one that really stayed in my mind, Christmas memory. Because since I'm on the road, like, pretty much, I always try to, keep that time away from the road, just to have my family time, keep it for family, because I don't see my family really much otherwise. But I'd say when I was a kid, because the whole family was together, and we had all traditions together, and it was, like, always a great time when I was a kid. I was innocent. I didn't know anything about, life problems or anything. So it was great to have everybody around and stuff. And I think my biggest memory was when I had that dollhouse, like the little girls' doll houses and stuff. And mine was so big, and, like, in wood and stuff. And I remember it was kind of like as big as me, as tall as me, or like maybe even more. And I was so impressed. I think it was biggest gift ever. I mean, the best gift ever for me. And I remember like that we were buying like some, a small bed and stuff like that. And it was really nice because I remember this year everybody was there and there was like no issue, no whatsoever. And it was, everybody was happy and I had this big doll house, and yeah, I think that was my best memory so far from
Okay, so
Christmas.
my favorite memory about Christmas, my favorite Christmas memory, I drove my parents crazy. Every Christmas, no matter what, I would literally be up either 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. I would be the first one by the tree, ready to open the presents. And they were like, "Can you not sleep in?" And I'm like, I could never sleep in because I was always excited.
That's so sweet. Yeah, we all want like to see Santa Claus when we were kids. Always stay like up the whole night to see if he's coming and ready for the gifts and stuff. And yeah, that was always a thing.
So now my favorite memory is about, I want to say 6 years ago, I was able to have my sister and her kids down on Christmas Eve. It was about to snow here in Knoxville for the first time in forever. And just having them there, and then I was excited that evening, not being able to go to sleep. We finally got moved to sleep. The next morning, they saw the snow for the first time and opened the presents. And that moment, I was like, I relearned the joy of Christmas because I was like looking through their eyes, going like, wow, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's always sweet, like sweet memories. Like Christmas always bring like good memories because we all together, family is reunited. Sorry. So it's always like good to spend time together and make new memories together. It's always a special time.
Exactly. Mia, where can we follow our new favorite female professional wrestler in the world on the information superhighway?
Oh, thank you. So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm new on TikTok as well. So you can find me all there. It's Mila Smidt, really simple. So yeah, don't hesitate to follow my journey into professional wrestling world.
Ladies and gentlemen, please go over to Mia's Twitter this weekend and wish her a fun anniversary as she celebrates her birthday. And thank you for being on Radio Free Professional Wrestling, Mia.
Hey, thank you so much. It was so much fun.